come away from the Harry said, patting the on the sofa. He curled his around me when I eyes dancing. He grinned and me back. As he moved the he said, let's give them a real show.
I'm sorry, I was mutely laughing the whole time. I love it.
Of course you fucking love it. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Bim.
How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
It's my birthday month, and so everything is golden this month. Like nothing bad happens in November.
Sure. We're going to go with your perspective.
Thank you. Thank you for being so generous and indulgent of my nonsense.
But yeah, birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I have the same response to everyone every year for the last few years now. If you're thinking about me for my birthday and you think, God, Bim enriches my life so much, I have 2 words for you, and they are Joe Malone. Just head on over. My scents are blackberry and bay. And also the honey stuff. Yeah, put that shit directly in my eyeballs. Like, I want it. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying if you are capable, Joe Malone, if you're listening, send me a candle, sis. Like, it's up to you, Joe. No, I'm very excited. 1 year older, which means, you know, ideally 1 year wiser.
Yes, but you are.
Am I?
Yes.
I appreciate your confidence as you said that.
I think so, yeah.
Thank you. The key thing at this point is that as long as I'm thirsting, I feel healthy. So
there it is.
Right. So to that end, hosting this podcast with you truly is my best birthday present.
I mean, let's just say that a year of Thirst Aid Kit has added 10 years to your life.
That is good maths, and I'm here for it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm very excited about today's episode.
Yeah, me too. This is one of those kind of compilation episodes, and I'm excited to get into the discussion.
Is that what you want to get into? Okay.
We are going to be talking about, dear Thirst Buckets, beards.
Yes. Yes, we are. She said that. Your eyebrows just went way high as you said that. But it's true.
Yeah, because, you know, any listener who's been with us for, you know, a certain amount of time knows that I enjoy a hairy man.
You do. I just imagine a little wolf baby, but yes.
Oh, speaking of wolf, I have a little friend, right? He's a little hairy. And so his ringtone, because I am 12 still, and so I give people special ringtones.
Right.
His ringtone is a werewolf howl.
Oh my God, I hate you.
Or maybe just a wolf howl. I don't know, whatever. I'm going to pretend it's a werewolf.
Okay.
Because he's got these hairy forearms and he's got long hair.
Oh God.
And it just, he reminds me of a little wolf.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful segue, because we're going to talk a lot about hair in general, but specifically the hair on a face.
Yes.
And how it changes things.
Yeah, what's the term that you coined? What is it?
Ambibiextrous?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I am a wordsmith. They call me young Shakespeare. No one does. But I do think that there are some men for whom a beard becomes a moment of, let me turn around and have a look at this.
Yeah.
Which doesn't normally happen when they're without their,
right.
their hirsute armor. I mean, a very popular thing on the internet that people say is that beards are contour for men.
I agree.
Wow.
I mean, it really changes their whole face.
Yeah. You're completely correct.
And you would think that it's supposed to soften a face, right? Because you're covering up, but sometimes it does not. It actually makes them look, dare I say, more rugged.
Oof. Yeah. Shout out to lumberjacks for that very reason.
Right. Oh, do you remember lumbersexuals?
Yes.
That term?
Yes, I do. We've gone through we've really skated through some bad words as a race, people. We've done a bad thing several times. I will say also it's very interesting that what we think about in terms of men with facial hair is the stereotype, of course, is that they are not trustworthy because they are hiding something. My friend's grandmother was of the very firm opinion that you could not shake her from, that men with beards were hiding a weak chin.
Oh, interesting.
That was her thing. She was like, you can't trust him. He's covering it up. He's got a weak chin, and a weak chin is a weak character.
Oh, wow. That's interesting, because one of my exes, that's why he said he grew a beard, was because he had a weak chin.
See? It's camouflage, right? So it builds up an idea. And I think that's very important as we discuss what is attractive and what we've been told is attractive. And for the longest time, of course, beards were not seen as a thing that was universally hot or genteel or whatever. It's a sign of kind of, outsized masculinity or like, fucking Heathcliff shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's interesting how it has shifted in modern times over the years and has become something that is just more acceptable.
Interesting. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but I guess we should talk about who we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we should. I mean, some of these people have come up in small and big ways over the year. And, if you follow us on Twitter or elsewhere, you may have seen us mention them. The first person, of course, will be Mr. John Krasinski.
Right, Jim from The Office, who he did not have a beard when he played that character.
He didn't. But I feel like he had a beard in his soul. I believe that. Like, I do. I really do. But yeah, good old Jim. He's going to be one of our topics of discussion today.
Right. We're also going to talk about Will Smith.
I know. I'm very excited to talk about this.
I cannot wait.
You know why. And soon the listeners will too.
And then finally, we're going to discuss Prince Harry.
That's right. My British cousin, Prince Harry. We're going to talk about him.
Is he really your cousin? Because I feel like maybe...
He's not even a little bit my cousin.
Okay.
He's just British.
Yes.
And that'll do. And technically, his family is German. So even, it's very... All I'm saying is I am notorious for clinging on to anyone I have even a little bit of kinship with. And in this case, that makes Prince Harry my cousin. But we're not going to talk about him as a cousin. We're going to talk about how he became hot.
Yes. I am ready for all of this. I'm very excited.
Let's get into it, Nicole.
Okay, Bam.
Go on.
Let's get started.
I love when your voice has intent like this.
Let's get started with John Krasinski.
Let's.
He has surprised me with his glow up.
Tell me more, Nicole, please.
Because I watched The Office. I was a sucker for Jim and Pam until the last 2 seasons.
I mean,
and I could not, for the life of me, even though I knew that this was supposed to be about small town America, whatever, I could not, for the life of me, understand why Jim was driving everyone crazy. Like he was always considered this sexy, irresistible guy. And I'm like, is it just because he's tall?
That was a big part of it, I gotta be honest.
I'm like, good gravy. His hair was a mess,
It was.
And not in a sexy way. It was just so like, I don't feel like getting a haircut kind of way.
It was the haircut of several indie boys I knew back in London. Like, it was a bad haircut that was somehow made to be the haircut of white men of a certain age. I know. It was very basic.
Yes. It had no shape other than
it was like plopped
ridiculous
on his head.
Mushroom.
Yes, it was like a bowl cut that had been allowed to grow wild.
Yeah,
it's just a bad haircut. That was a time we were all living through. But I know what you mean. He seemed very basic to me. Like, I was like, he's tall. It's that question, the age-old question: is he hot or is he just tall and white?
Hey,
and listen, that's brainwashing that has occurred across culture. And we thank the Lord that, I'm several years clean now. But it's definitely a thing, right?
Yeah. If we were to interview him, and we're not, but I just want to get that out there before people get excited. But if we were to interview him, I would ask him if playing Jim made him feel like he had to be more attractive when he was not Jim. Like when they were on hiatus and they weren't filming. I wonder if he like... You know how when you're feeling bad and you put on makeup so that you don't show everybody that you're feeling bad? Yes. I wonder if then he, was in the gym working out so that he could be different from...
It could be Hot John rather than Dweeby Jim.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair assumption. I would ask the same question, Nicole. You really are an excellent interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
But the thing is, like, even understanding that he was quite basic didn't stop me from fancying him a little, like not a lot, but like a base low level hum of awareness of like, he is tall, he's cute. And I think also, and this is the power of television, where all the stuff that is added to the body, the face, all of that stuff. So the character of Jim, I found him just so lovely Like he was this man who was trapped in this terrible job, was so clearly smarter and nicer and better than almost everyone in the room.
Yeah.
But was trapped here for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I always found that to be so oddly relatable and attractive. And I was like, oh, I too am a swan, but I'm surrounded right now and I'm an ugly duckling for now. You know, like there was like a real kinship there for me to find with him. So I think that's what made Jim hot to me, that, you know, this idea of being this quiet genius but was kind of stuck working for a fucking paper company,
right?
You know, in Scranton,
right? The job that you take when you're like, I just need to make ends meet, and then next thing you know, you've been there 10 years, and you have this whole family with these people.
Isn't that terrifying?
It's frightening.
And that's where my arousal was based. I was like, oh, relatable. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But John Krasinski, it seems like he really wanted to separate himself from Jim. And so he did start to work out, and he grew his beard. I think the moment that I was like, oh, John, was when he was on Jimmy Fallon's talk show, his late night talk show, and he was doing some lip syncing thing, and he was lip syncing to Boys to Men, and he came and he like
that old school R&B will get you.
Listen, I was like, what do you know about this? You know, because it wasn't the Boys to Men that had gone kind of poppy mainstream, but he came out and he was really getting into it, and he was jumping up and down, and okay. Don't be gross.
Oh.
But I'm just saying that I saw some things.
Oh, God. You tell me not to be gross and then you say something truly gross. I hate you so much.
But I was like, oh, hello, John. You're a real boy now.
You sully Pinocchio for this.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God, Nicole. He's pressing a finger to his ear like it's got an earpiece.
Yes. And so he takes off his jacket.
Yeah, he's hot.
And he takes off his tie a little. He loosens it. This is it. Wow, I got a tear in my eye.
Oh my God. This is so hot.
I was not ready for John Krasinski.
Do you know, that's the first time I've seen it and I'm not ready.
Wow.
So yeah, but you see in that clip, which can we just say he has got a beard.
He's got a beard.
Yeah.
I was surprised by his rhythm.
Oh my God.
Listen, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I mean, like, do you think that Jim from The Office would be listening to
No.
Boys to Men?
No. But John Krasinski, as distinct from Jim, suddenly I was like, oh yeah, I see it. And the beard is nice, the hair is like big, and he's wearing this slim little European cut suit.
Yes.
And when he tears the jacket off, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Do that again.
I mean,
He loosens his tie.
Yes.
Neck looking all strong.
Listen. And this wasn't even like him at his full, whatever action hero horror thing.
No, like this, the Office was literally just like on. Like it was just ending.
Yes.
This is like pre-Men's Health magazine.
Right. So his beard was more like hiatus beard that a lot of people, you know.
I know exactly what you mean. I'm just laughing.
But I was not ready, and I will never forget it. And that's when I was like, John Krasinski, I'm here for you now.
You know what? That's entirely fair. And I think it's very interesting because, to go back to The Office, there were moments in The Office, like, you know, we've mentioned how he had sort of an everyman vibe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the only available hottie in The Office. So you're like, fine, I guess I will have a crush on you.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like a real crush of opportunity as opposed to like, I didn't necessarily choose my choice. But there were moments when Jim would be like this hot thing that you couldn't take your eye off of.
Yes.
So you know the clip I'm about to play.
Yes, I
now,
do.
Somebody on our Tumblr, which is thursdaykitpodcast.tumblr.com, they mentioned, we had an anon question in our ask box, and they said, hey, have you guys seen that episode of The Office where they're talking about crushes and blah, 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 and John Krasinski does this sexy whisper growl thing, and I'd forgotten. And very helpfully, this anon was like, it's season 5, episode 13, which, can I just say, if you're going to come to our inbox, be that servicey. Give us the fucking timestamps. And they literally gave us a timestamp. So it's on there. And let me just play this clip for you, because when I went back to rewatch it, I found out that my armpits were sweating. And I had not expected that.
Right.
So I'm just going to play you. Basically, they're all discussing in the office. You know, when your boss is aware, you end up making like noise on your desk. And basically, they're all chatting about, you know, is X or Y celebrity hot? And the question comes down to Hilary Swank. And, you know, teams have been taken up and people say she's not hot. And people go, and, you know, Jim is he basically wants the whole fucking thing to end. So he's just like, listen, Hilary Swank is hot. Okay, fine.
Now imagine that Hilary Swank comes into this office for real. She walks over to you and she says, Kevin Malone, I just read your online profile, and there's nothing I'd rather do than make out with you right now. Now you tell me something. Is she hot?
Yes. So Kevin nods yes. Like,
Yes. He's licking his lip. His eyebrows are like, yes. My favorite thing is, as he does that, as he's telling him that story and his voice lowers into that whisper growl. I'm sorry, my mouth is full of saliva. He's leaning in. He's got his hands in his pockets and he's leaning in closer and closer. And Kevin doesn't. But I think if it were me, I may have reached across and pulled his face in and kissed him. Because that is easily the hottest whisper on network telly that year. I'm very sure of it.
yeah, me and Pam would have rumbled after.
Poor Pam.
I would have ruined Jim as much as I just talked about how he's so basic. I would have been like, yeah, you're never going to have another woman after me.
This is your life now. But yeah, John Krasinski, it turns out Jim, you know, defined him for so long. But he's actually done a fuckload of films. And I think people forget because he's been in this game a little while.
Yeah.
It's coming up to 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go through a few of the things he has done. And we can see, I think, as noted by one of our colleagues here at BuzzFeed News, Alison Wilmore, who wrote about his career and how it's kind of transitioned into like Red State kind of, you know, movie hero. But he started out doing things like, you know, Jarhead, where he's, you know, plays someone in the army. He did The Holiday. Remember that? He was one of the employees of Cameron Diaz's company. Never forget.
Yes.
He was even in Dreamgirls.
Yeah, very briefly.
Right. Very tiny role, but he was in that. He was in stuff like Shrek the Third. Remember?
He was in It's Complicated.
Right.
I loved him in It's Complicated because, first of all, the movie is just really good.
I love it.
It's a sweet movie.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And his character, I wouldn't even say it's a supporting character, but
it's a supporting of a supporting character.
Yeah. But whatever he had to say, all of his lines were delivered so well with such humor and just the right punctuation to each scene.
His line delivery, I think, is very, very good, whatever he's doing. And I think that's what makes him so, I guess, versatile and able to do things like comedy and drama and, you know, action stuff and all the other stuff. I mean, one of my favorite roles of his actually is in a movie by Sam Mendes called Away We Go. But in Away We Go, he plays like this beautiful, lovely man, and his character is married to Maya Rudolph, which just seems like if they were a real life couple, I would definitely want to go to their house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just...
I would, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I feel like they would have really good house parties, like dinner parties, you know, just like she would be really funny and he would be, you know, the little dry wit to her, like outlandish humor.
Yeah, I just want John Krasinski to be my friend.
Yeah.
But I love that movie because, again, it's that thing about taking a step back. The movie is not necessarily about him as like a lead character, but he's in there. And like you said, everything that he delivers is done. You believe it. Like, he gives it to you.
Yeah. I saw him in Nobody Walks, and he was playing a departure from what he usually plays, like the everyman, good guy, kind of safe character. When he was playing somebody who was trying to step out on his wife, basically. Yeah, with this young woman that was trying to make a film with him. And
Men are terrible.
Yeah, and it was such. He got to be kind of sexy in that creepy, sexy way.
I know the type.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting. And the film didn't do that well, but it was nice to see him in this role. Away from, again, Jim in the office. And I think, you know, a lot of times people do that. They try to get something that is as opposite as they can from the, you know, lovable characters that they've been playing for so long, and it falls really flat, and it looks, you know, looks like they're trying too hard. But I think that he still did a solid job in that film. So I can't say that it's like go out and see it right now, but I think it's worth a look for people who want to be John Krasinski completists.
Right, exactly. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned about that tonal shift of, it's kind of like the Disney child star who wants to show that I'm a grown up now and then does like a shoot with fucking Playboy or whatever.
Yeah.
And there is something that Alison Wilmore wrote in this piece, which is a very great head. It's called John Krasinski Wants to Play Red State Heroes Without Getting Political. It's a very good piece. We'll put it up on our Tumblr so you can find it. But there's a little paragraph in there that I really like. And she says, Krasinski's shift wasn't your standard celebrity glow up, more of a glow sideways, a lateral move for an actor who had spent years playing the beloved romantic lead and nice guy Jim Halpert on The Office and didn't face a pressing need to make the case for his own attractiveness. At 6'3" and possessed of a handsomeness just off kilter enough to be allowed to pass as that of an everyman on TV, the actor wasn't pulling a Chris Pratt and rebranding himself as a who'd have thunk it hunk. He was doing something closer to what his Aloha co-star Bradley Cooper did for his own high-profile, bulking up to play Navy SEAL Chris Kyle in Clint Eastwood's American Sniper. And I think that is a very interesting observation to make, that it was a glow sideways.
Yeah.
He already was in the heart of so many audience members. And then he was like, all right, well, I'm just going to shift a bit to the left or to the right or whatever. And I think there is something about that ease, right, that makes him still, like he's doing all these action hero movies where you might kind of scratch your head and go, huh?
Yeah.
And yet you're like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, he went to the gym and he camped out there.
Yeah.
He got himself some abs. And
yes.
you don't resent that. You don't think you're trying to trick me. You think that makes sense.
Yeah. It feels like, oh, that's what's been there all along. And I was just so distracted by, the goofy, lackadaisical everyman that he was playing that I didn't look further. But
you know what sharpens the eye? The beard.
Yes.
Right. I'm glad we're in agreement. But absolutely, it's one thing to kind of make this body in the gym. And these bodies are absolutely made. Like, no one tell you a lie. You work at this shit.
Yeah.
But then with the addition of the beard, something happens and it becomes rugged and out and out sexy. Like you were saying, lumbersexual.
Yeah.
This is a man who can, lift things.
He looks, listen, don't get it twisted. The beard makes him look like a little Santa's elf. Okay, that's jacked.
Wow. Santa's elf that's jacked.
Yes. Because he's got, the cute little kind of bulbous nose or whatever. And he reminds me, I don't know, Bim, if you're familiar with this, but these old claymation, stop animation, Christmas little programs, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all that kind of stuff. Heat Miser, that's what he looks like.
You're completely correct. You are 100% correct. Yes.
And it's like, that sounds like I'm insulting him, but I'm really not.
No,
I'm
you're
just
not.
saying, like, he's still, like Allison said in her piece, he's still kind of this safe action hero now, right? Because he doesn't look unapproachable.
Right. But yeah, I feel like the next chapter of his career will be even more interesting because, he's older, obviously, because that's how linear time works. But I also think maybe this will mean now that he's been the everyman, he's been the action hero. I wonder what the next thing will be. And my sincere hope and prayer is that he keeps the beard because I do think it makes his face instantly more interesting. And I think that's the key thing, right?
Yeah, that's what's important. Is your face interesting to us, Bim and Nicole, only?
When you put it like that doesn't sound insane at all. Correct. Yes. Oh, God bless you, John Krasinski.
Okay, let's move on to someone who's been around for quite a while. Like 30? No. Almost 25 years at least.
It's pushing 30.
Jeez.
Not to age anyone here.
Right. But he started off, he was not an actor.
No.
He was a rapper.
Quote unquote rapper. God bless him.
We are talking about, of course, Will Smith.
Yes.
Formerly known as the Fresh Prince.
You may have heard of FKA Twigs, but what do you know about FKA the Fresh Prince? Okay, thank you.
Who is undeniably cute.
If you try to deny it, a thunderbolt would kill you. It's a lie. He's so cute.
He's so cute and he's funny and charming, and to watch his evolution has been a sight.
It really, wow, that's a grandma level euphemism. It's been a sight But it has been.
Yeah.
Because like you said, his trajectory was not where he has ended up is not where you thought he would end up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's interesting always.
Yeah. So when Will Smith first came on the scene as Fresh Prince, it was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Right. Classic tunes.
Parents just don't understand. Very like, it's a little controversial to call him safe, but that's, again, safe. He was someone that our parents could listen to, or they would be okay with us listening to him rapping.
Right. There was a cleanness to him.
Yes.
Like there wasn't like he never had that element of like razor edge danger.
Yeah.
You know, with his kind of acid wash clothes and his cute smile. And again, that face is so cute that you're kind of like, what evil could you lead my child to?
Right. Yeah, you're a rapper, but you're so sweet and,
Right.
you know, cute and whatever. I don't think he cursed. I think that was one of his things. Like, he
Yes.
didn't curse.
Yeah.
He
There was
just,
nary a bitch to be found.
Right. He was just, you know, party rap.
Yes, 100%. And like good party rap.
Yeah.
Like you put Summertime on right now, I don't care that it's winter outside, I will dance.
It's a classic.
100%. His legacy was secure with just that track.
Yes.
Like, let's be very honest.
Yes.
But then Will Smith did that amazing thing and evolved right in front of our eyes. And, you know, Fresh Prince, because, you know, in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground was where he spent most of his days. And I think that as a worldwide phenomenon, I think people forget how big that show was.
It was huge.
Across the world.
I mean, stamped by Quincy Jones, who is...
Well, he's Quincy.
Yeah, bigger than life, right?
Right.
And then also... Fresh Prince had people like Queen Latifah on, Nia Long,
Yep.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Was she on there at one point?
I think she may have been.
I mean,
let me tell you the absolute way that this show straddled the world. The current person in the White House once guested
all right.
on this show.
Yeah.
Like, it really was a phenomenon. Oprah was on this.
Yeah.
Well, you know, an idea of Oprah.
Yeah.
Everyone was on this bloody show. And it was that thing that was also simultaneously very mainstream, but also quite black.
Yes. Right. Right. And it was kind of like, again, this way of showing, in the way that the Cosby Show
Right.
let people see a side of blackness that they ignored. I'm going to say that, not that they didn't see, but that they ignored in order to boost some stereotypes.
Right.
The Fresh Prince also showed, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air also showed this world, the slice of Black American life that people claim they weren't familiar with, didn't really see, didn't get boosted. We're this upper middle class, wealthy kind of family.
But we're literally in the same generation tied to quote unquote the hood.
Yes.
And that can happen simultaneously. Like you can be both at a prep school in ritzy Bel Air and have a cousin who's, you know, being sent over to you because life is a little bit too rough in West Philly. And I think that's a very interesting, still, I don't think there's been a lot of telly around that very, and of course this was played for laughs, but the show had like some real moments. Like,
yes,
people forget. And Will Smith, who started out not being a very good actor on it, became a better actor on the show. And the show was on for years.
Yes, that moment, why don't he love me, man?
How come you don't want me, Uncle Phil?
Will. Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
Oh my
Man.
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm crying even thinking about it.
I don't know
because why?
anybody who doesn't look at that clip and still cry.
Right.
No matter how many times they see it.
It's moving.
It is so moving. He did that.
He did do that. And he did all of that without a beard. So.
Right. He had this very small, you know, baby mustache, a little scruff,
It
you
really
know,
was a
whatever.
baby mustache.
And, you know, I think part of it is that he had to be, you know, something that white people felt comfortable looking at.
Right. Non-threatening.
And a lot of times when Black men are are clean shaven or don't have a lot of facial hair, it is again to make sure that white people feel okay.
Right.
They feel comfortable with their presence. Like, I'm so smooth and baby-faced, and therefore I'm not a threat. I'm not the thug on the street, whatever.
Yep. And that's like fucked up in its own way, but like he was very much a sweet, like young man. And they really played into that, and they made it so that, you know, he's like cute, and I'm sure they made him shave because he was a grown man when he was playing it. So, but he kept that little wispy baby mustache, right?
Yeah.
And then he kind of kept that ongoing. So after Fresh Prince, he kind of like then branched into movies, and then he became like, you know, Mr. Summer. Let's not forget, he was the guy who essentially reintroduced blockbusters. Shout out to Independence Day. And he owned the summer pretty much for the next decade.
Yes.
That's the kind of shit Tom Cruise people do.
Yes.
And Will Smith says, yeah, that's cool. Let me do this with this added melanin. So shout out to Will Smith. And that's the other thing I need to say. He is a cultural juggernaut that doesn't get half the props he should.
Right. So many people are, I don't want to say threatened, but they, you know how it is. White man can do this stuff. Tom Cruise can do all this kind of stuff, and it's fine. No one bats an eye. But then Will Smith does it, and it's like, let's break this down and analyze why he's so successful. What is he doing? Is he a Scientologist? What, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like he's just doing what the other blockbuster stars before him have done.
Right.
He has a team of people who look at the scripts and decide, is this going to be a hit, and should I waste my time on it?
Right. And I think that's a valid way to do business. And the key thing to point out is that Will Smith is also doing this in addition to all the other stuff that he's doing. So he's Mr. Blockbuster, but at the time also he was doing comedy, and he was out doing action. He was doing like R-rated he did Bad Boys at the height of his big, you know, like he really has mixed it all up. And can I just say that, yes, I grew up with Will Smith. So in a way, for the beginning of my crushing, I was very much kind of like a very familial. He was very much boy next door, just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I recognize this boy, you know, this young man. I get it. And then, for a long time, I didn't know how to feel about this. I was like, do I fancy Will Smith? And I think, and that was a big step for me to kind of go, no, I do. Because a part of me's kind of like, do I fancy the corny rapper? Like, you know, and it turns out, Nicole, I do fancy Will Smith. I'm sorry.
How did you become so confident in your response?
So, like I said, I was grappling. Oh, God. I was grappling with, do I or do I not fancy Will Smith when I was younger? And then something happened that cemented my opinion one way or the other. And that is that I had a dream about Will Smith. Yeah, no, don't. It was very much a surprise.
Okay.
I feel like I'm at a press conference. It was a very surprising turn of events. But I woke up the next morning and I was like, wait, what?
I mean, would you like to share some of the details of the dream?
I know that we were living together.
Okay,
Because
domestic goddess strikes again.
Every time. And I just remember, like, I can't say anything other than it was not an ambiguous dream. It wasn't like, oh, did we or didn't we? We definitely did. And that's what surprised me. And I was like, wait, do I fancy what? And then my subconscious was like, bitch, you do. There was the evidence that it turns out the subconscious foof wants what the subconscious foof wants. And yeah, it turns out it was Will Smith. So I have a very strong reaction to him. And this is interesting because, again, objectively speaking, I can say that Will Smith is at his hottest when he has a beard.
Yes.
And in this dream, he did not have a beard.
Oh.
Right. You see, he had like his little box of hair, you know, around his mouth.
Yeah, the little goatee.
Right. And I was like, cool, whatever. But then I saw him in Suicide Squad.
Yes, where the beard is fully developed and thick and glistening because it's moisturized.
Yes, it is, bitch.
I mean... Yes.
Listen, so the character is called Deadshot, and it's basically the DC version of fucking Bullseye, right? He never misses. Lol. And the beard is just lived in, and like you said, it's thick.
Yeah.
And it looks lustrous.
Yeah. And it's kind of trimmed in a way that it's narrow or thinner on the sides, but then the base is very full.
Sorry.
Shut up.
I'm so sorry.
But also, okay, Philadelphia men, I don't know about Philadelphia white men, but Philadelphia black men are known for having very pronounced, luxurious beards.
I've seen the tumblers, Nicole.
Yes. And so I feel like Will Smith went back to his roots on this shit. And was like, let me bring out some Philly on y'all.
Right.
And, thickened up that beard.
That beard is truly glorious. And in this, because he's bald in this movie as Deadshot, so it's like this. You really see like his dome. It's yellow.
Yeah, he's got yellow undertones,
right?
And
and then the beard comes in, and I'm like, I don't even care. And that's the power of a good beard.
And see, that's the thing. The beard pulls focus away from the bald head because I am not, I do not enjoy bald men.
I really do.
Yeah, you like the bald men. I do not. So I'm like, oh, there's the hair.
Oh, God. Why does that sound so dirty? Oh, there's the hair.
And then also, I mean, if we're going to keep, I'm not going to go all the way there. But I will say that when I see a beard, after I like check, your face is already like, no, don't say it, bitch.
Please, by all means, go on. I'm ready.
But after I do like the initial, oh, that looks good. It looks, healthy and groomed and, whatever,
groomed,
moisturized. Then I'm like, oh, what will that look like a little later during private time?
I'm so scandalized right now. I'm so angry. I hate you so from the bottom of my heart. I hate you so much for this.
Okay, listen. Sometimes men think just having a beard is enough.
Right.
They don't do anything to it. They just let it grow and then gets like split ends. Like, I don't want to see a beard with split ends. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, you can groom yourself without anybody, making assertions about your sexuality if that's what you're afraid of or whatever. Fucking Duck Dynasty ass beards. It's okay to put like scissors to them and trim them up and
just give
whatever.
it a little shape.
Yeah, just some coconut oil, something.
Just act like you love yourself.
Yes.
Not everyday grit and leather.
Yes.
Some days, some really nice shaved butter.
Yes.
Okay? Soften the fucker.
I mean, we gotta touch that shit.
Among other things, you bastard. It's very, I do think that, and I think that is the defining quality of this particular Will Smith beard because, he's done so much. Like, lest we forget, Will Smith has had the busiest roster. I mean, and he's reinvented himself. He's now like this old man of Instagram.
Yes.
I love
king
it.
of dad jokes.
Like the king. And to be fair, you could argue he has been the king of dad jokes since before he was a dad.
True.
But like, there's something about older Will Smith, right? Where he has like a bit of salt and pepper in his beard.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, he has like this scruff, this constant scruff.
Yeah.
Right? He's no longer clean shaven.
Right.
And I find it weirdly comforting.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, oh, this is the guy that I have loved for so long. And he's settling into like middle-aged daddom.
Yeah.
I find that thrilling. I'm like, it feels like, that moment in movies where a couple looks at one another, they're 60 years old and they kind of go, we did all right, Adeline, or whatever. And that's how I feel when I look at Will Smith. I'm like, you know what? We've come a long way, baby. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, he is... He's a solid Hollywood celebrity, as far as we know.
As far as we know, right.
Everybody.
I feel like that's the story.
Right.
Everybody's like, as far as we know,
right? Asterisks.
Oh God, we're laughing because it's terrible.
Everyone is awful. But he does make you feel like growing older and settling into who you are is not so bad after all.
He's lived through a few things. There's been marriage, there's been divorce, there's been this long union with this beautiful black woman and their amazing children who, on a good day are amazing. On a bad day, you think, what the fuck is up with these rich black kids? But another part of me is kind of like, I love it. Rich black kids, what a thing.
Yeah.
Live your crazy lives. It's wonderful. But I do think that you're right. That feeling of someone who has settled into themselves. So, he very much is a dad. He's got that new animated movie coming out. I know. But like in my head, I'm like, that fits exactly. Like, why wouldn't you do a little animated comedy where you're a super spy who becomes a bird? Like, yes, that makes sense for you, Will Smith. Like, I will still fancy you even in this foolish, amazing, terrible looking movie.
I remember Questlove, the drummer from The Roots, said that he had gone over to Will Smith's house. And Will pressed a button and the floor moved and went away and like a whole nother room came up out of the floor. And like Questlove was so amazed by this thing. And it makes me think of what you just mentioned, that, he lost his money and Will Smith lost his money and he learned to never make that mistake again. Right. And so that's something that you can see in that salt and pepper beard, that he has learned from his mistakes and he has vowed not to repeat them as if he can help it. If it's something that is in his control, he is not going to be broke again.
Right. I love the idea of a beard as a marker of like hard-won knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, this beard is salt and pepper, bitch, because I've seen some stuff.
Yes.
Like, if I struck a match on this, the match would show you my memories.
And listen, I mean, obviously we don't know what goes on in their household.
No.
But the fact that Jada Pinkett Smith takes whatever job she wants to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And she is out there doing her thing.
All the time.
And he is right there, like, look at my wife.
Right. In the classic photo, of course, where he's showcasing her. Like, take a look at my spouse.
Yes.
That's just hot. I'm sorry, but you see why I fancy Will Smith? You see why I'm having weird sex dreams about Will Smith? Because of shit like this.
Yes.
He's a strong black father, and I'm here for it. I'm here for that in general, but especially for Will Smith.
And your salt and pepper beard wheel.
There are many things that we talk about here on First Aid Kit, and there are many things we don't. One of those things is deodorant. I simply slick it on and I leave the house. However, I've got to tell you about this aluminium-free deodorant that has changed the game for me. Kopari is a coconut deodorant, and it is aluminium-free. And interestingly, it doesn't suck. It doesn't leave behind that sticky white residue that tends to come when you use deodorants. It has a really subtle scent. I used mine actually on the first day that I went to meet my personal trainer because I'm fancy. And when I came out, I had a very light fragrance still. I didn't feel as though my armpits had drowned in a massive stinky war. The really cool thing is that Kopari offers a money-back guarantee, so there is literally no reason for you not to try it. So go to koparibeauty.com/thirst to make the safe switch today and save $5 off your first order when you subscribe. That's Kopari, Kopari, beauty.com/thirst. Nicole.
Yep.
This next beard that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
He's he's a special.
We have personified this beard. Let me just say, I love a ginger beard.
Mate.
Now, you can have dark brown hair, whatever, but when your beard comes in, ginger comes in red, I am a moth to a flame.
You look so serious right now.
I don't know what it is.
It looks like you are defending your PhD right now. You are so serious.
I feel like a bug on a windshield. Just
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Sorry. I think I just snotted on the mic. I didn't expect that. Oh my God. A bug on a windshield.
Yes. Just splattered. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry. He is the cause of this hysteria. Now, if you have a long memory or even a short one, because this didn't happen all that long ago, you may remember a youthful Prince Harry going to a costume party and wearing the uniform of the fucking SS.
Yeah.
Like, he had on a fucking swastika.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was out there and it was like, oh, the prince is young and foolish. And it's like, cool.
Right.
Except not cool at all.
Right. And you said his people are German. Like, the family is German?
The family is. So it's
Okay.
kind of like, fam, what
the fuck are you doing?
Like, you're already a prince of an archaic and ridiculous institution. And then you come out with this fuckery.
Right.
And it was just kind of like, what's going on? So you can imagine the world's surprise when this man brings home a light-skinned black woman and is like, hey, I'm going to marry her. And then proceeds, like, literally to ensure the line by getting her pregnant a few weeks later.
I mean,
Listen, I feel like... So you can imagine. So all of this to say that Prince Harry, we spoke before about trajectories not going the way you had thought. I mean, many people didn't see it. I would like to point out, Nicole, that what I did see it.
You did see it.
Thank
and we
you.
have audio proof. Okay?
Bring on the receipts.
This is from a little show called Another Round,
Remember?
hosted by Tracy Clayton and Heaven Nagatu.
What even if Prince Harry just married some Nigerian? Listen, what if he married some Nigerian British girl called Bissy? What is stopping Prince Harry from marrying a Nigerian British girl?
Well,
Go.
I have a question
Okay.
that may lead to an answer. Is Prince Harry the one that was photographed in like a Nazi like armband?
That's the very one.
Okay, I think that might be a hurdle.
All I'm saying
to
is,
Missy getting into
okay,
the
listen. It's all I'll say is this: on the Black Girl Network,
okay.
and there is. I'm just gonna say this, okay? I want no
This is a
judgment.
safe space.
What is it we say? Don't at me. Let me just say what I know to be true.
Okay.
Okay.
Speak your truth, girl.
Prince Harry is not the ugliest prince we've ever had. That's it.
What a British ass answer.
So you know how sometimes you look at someone and you just think, I think.
Tracy has really good radar.
My
for this.
radar is on point.
So Tracy understands what I'm talking about. Heaven, please.
My radar is off.
Please ascend to our level. But I think Prince Harry gives off a certain vibe. I don't know how to say this without sounding incredibly creepy, but I think that there is a possibility that if I were to smile at Prince Harry,
right.
he would smile back.
Right. And that's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
how it
That's the
starts.
beginning of what could be a very different looking royal family.
So,
Well,
I don't often toot my own horn. That's a lie I do all the time. But I will say this. Toot motherfucking toot. I did say this back in 2016 when Meghan Markle was merely a twinkle in Prince Harry's eye. And I said it, and it was real, and it was true. And now we have potentially Prince Kwame coming shortly. And I want us all to just pay me my money because I said it.
that baby's name is about to be Patrick.
His middle name in my heart will always be Kwame, okay? Kwame Adekunle. Like, don't worry about it. For that alone, I deserve medals. But
Yes, absolutely.
Let's shift to Prince Harry's beard, right? Because I think that for many people is the marker of when he went from being a ridiculous rich tosser
Right.
into, oh, I probably would.
Right, because he's always been positioned as the rebellious one. You know, he was the baby boy.
I mean, it's literally the heir and the spare, right?
Yeah. So he did a lot of stupid things, like we mentioned earlier.
He did.
And he was able to, I guess, have a bit more freedom than Prince William.
Right. Well, like one of them was clearly going to be king.
Yes.
And the other was, well, only if a terrible tragedy occurs will you be king.
Right. And so Prince Harry, he had his little baby face for a while.
Yeah, he was beautiful like his mom.
Yeah. And then he showed up with that beard. And again, I was just like, oh, tell me more, Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something.
Because, like you said, it was when he had that beard that I had an inkling. But the beard was definitely like, oh, he dates black girls. Like he's got an eye for black women
Oh, right.
that he can't fully, express.
That's that scientific background of yours, Nicole.
It really is.
But I know exactly what you mean. The beard kind of signaled something.
Yeah.
Like a certain demographic was awakened. What?
And it's so many black women
Yes.
gravitated towards Prince Harry.
Right.
Like, Prince William, when he was younger, was handsome-ish.
Yeah,
I guess.
no, not even
Yeah.
ish. He was like, he was beautiful.
Yeah, but I didn't get as many black women
No.
mooning over him.
No, there wasn't anything to moon over.
Yeah.
He just wasn't for us. And
Yeah.
then, and I think that goes back to a little bit also of just kind of like, I think most women anyway that I know at various points in the month like the idea of a rebellious bad boy.
Yes.
And Prince William never once in his life has given off that vibe.
Right.
But Prince Harry definitely has.
Yeah.
So there was like, I've written about my, African auntie's love for Diana and by extension her boys. So I always had a soft spot for them anyway. that soft spot became another kind of spot when I actually was like, oh no, Prince Harry, I hate myself, but I would.
Right, that's the thing. You're like, but I would.
Right. Like, I'm a staunch Republican. Fuck a royal family. This whole institution is ridiculous. I don't business with it. However.
Like you said, if he smiled at me.
Right.
Before he was married, of course.
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, I would
entertain
entertain the smile.
Wouldn't you?
I would entertain the smile.
What's not to entertain? Especially someone like you who genuinely does love a ginger beard.
Listen, and people do not. A lot of people don't see it for gingers. Like, you'll sometimes gingers, like, y'all get real extra sometimes because y'all try to make it seem like you've been oppressed like black people or something.
I'm
and
like, all right, calm down. There wasn't a civil rights movement for carrot tops. Calm down.
Let's get real.
Where's your MLK? Let's all calm the fuck down.
But I do know that they get teased a lot.
Yes, and it's hellish.
Right.
I've seen gingers reduced to tears when I was like growing up, so I don't diminish any of the very real horror of being bullied for being a redneck.
Right.
And he was teased in the press. But instead, he just leaned into it.
Yeah, because there's this one image that I love. I have it on my phone right now where he is, I think it was a fashion show in...
some kind of presentation.
Yeah, was he in Ghana?
I don't know. It may have been. It was definitely in Africa.
Yeah, we'll look it up. And there was a fashion show, and the woman was coming out, and she looks gorgeous. She's got her hair wrapped and everything, and everyone in the audience in this picture is focused on her. Everyone just like mesmerized. Harry is in the front row.
Yeah.
The look on his face, if he could have sopped her up, he would have.
First of all, it became the primest meme photo ever.
It epitomized ready to risk it all. And that's what people were captioning it. Prince Harry, ready to risk it all.
I mean, the most viral one happened in December 2015. The caption that really kind of went everywhere was by a Twitter user who was called I Am Supervillain, which is a great name. But they posted this photo of Harry and the caption said, when your girl texts you about the salad she made for dinner, but you can see jollof rice in your future.
Yes.
And it is a perfect caption to a perfect photo. Let's not forget, the beard is it's a little short.
Yeah.
But it's proper true ginger.
Yeah.
It's orange, fam.
Yes.
He just looks good. I can't lie. All of it matches. The shirt's open at the collar. It just works. And he does have a good jaw.
Yeah.
So this is like, it just looks like an enhancement. I cannot lie. Guys, I really fancy Prince Harry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I have betrayed my Republican roots. But, it just turns out that, But I will say that I did see his approval spike. Much like Barack Obama when we discovered his wife was a dark-skinned black woman. Like Prince Harry being engaged and then married to a biracial black woman.
Right.
Really did something for his rep.
The thing about Prince Harry and Meghan is that once we found out that they were dating and once it became official and then the press, started having a field day and their lives, changed even more, Prince Harry sent out a statement saying, back the fuck up.
He did.
And there is nothing hotter than a man. Okay. It can get a little,
sure,
a little iffy, when someone kind of flexes. And,
don't stake a claim on me. I'm not land, right?
But also show that you respect me, that you are standing by my side, that you are honoring me, and that you will protect me.
Right. And I think that is the point of this press release, where the language never dips into that patriarchal hands off my woman.
Yes.
It's kind of like respect the fuck out of the woman I'm choosing to spend my life with. And I'm going to read you a little excerpt because... and I'm going to do my best BBC accent. So the letter has started and he's talking a lot about, I've grown up, in the limelight and I'm very aware of the warmth that people kind of send me and etc. However, something has changed. And this is the bit where he says, but the past week has seen a line crossed. Now, I don't know about you, but I clenched my legs at that point. He said, this is directly from the press release. His girlfriend, Meghan Markle, has been subject to a wave of abuse and harassment. Some of this has been very public. The smear on the front page of a national newspaper, the racial undertones of comment pieces, and the outright sexism and racism of social media trolls and web article comments. Some of it has been hidden from the public, the nightly legal battles to keep defamatory stories out of papers, her mother having to struggle past photographers in order to get to her front door. There's a little pause. I'm going to pause and drink some water. And this is the paragraph that truly elevates me on the inside. It raises me up. Prince Harry is worried about Miss Markle's safety and is deeply disappointed that he has not been able to protect her.
Harry?
It is not right that a few months into a relationship with him that Miss Markle should be subjected to such a storm. He knows commentators will say that this is, quote, the price she has to pay and that, quote, this is all part of the game. He strongly disagrees. This is not a game. It is her life and his.
Harry, you motherfucker.
I threw my bra at the screen and I was like, take it, Harry.
Listen,
it's yours.
There is no racially charged, racially tinged. Call it by its name. The racism, the sexism. What?
Listen.
He said girlfriend.
He said my girlfriend. Hands. And then he ends it with this fucking mic drop of a line. This is not a game.
Bitch. That was what was in the parentheses.
If he had his anger translated, it would have been like, this is not a game. And the person would have popped up and said, bitch. And it would have come from the heart.
Just straight from the gut.
And then he said, it is her life. And this is the fucking and his.
Yeah. Like if it was not clear that he was about to marry her right then and there, you knew.
You knew.
He was walking down the aisle with her.
Wow, I am
terrifically... My accent came all out.
I am genuinely and terrifically aroused. Like, is such... I mean, I never thought a press release could be sexy.
Right.
And then Prince Harry said, hold my beer. And my fancy dress costume. I want you to hold it while I release the greatest mixtape press release of all time. It is both incredibly stern.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about sternness. And incredibly sexy. And together we have just this, wow.
Yes. When they did their first interview post-engagement with ITV, and the interviewer asked them, so I understand you spend a lot of time indoors. You've been, kind of enjoying each other away from the cameras and stuff. Like the look on Meghan's face, like, yeah, we've been inside a whole lot. I was like, Harry, I see you. You got a cousin? let me know.
My favorite thing about that video, about that whole documentary, Meet Harry and Meghan, is not so much the words that they say, but their expressions.
Yes.
He looks besotted with her, and she looks besotted with him. And there is nothing I love more than seeing equal levels of love and lust and all the good stuff between a couple. I think it's the hottest thing that you can showcase or telegraph in anything. And they were transmitting it it was beaming out of their eyes.
And when he talked about her mother, he loves her mother like cooked food.
You can tell.
Oh my God, he is completely charmed by her mother. And I'm like, if your man loves your mother like that and he loves you like that,
listen,
I
mean, Meghan has a right idea. I'd be pregnant in weeks also.
Listen.
I'm like, you know what? Let's make this official, okay? Let's go halves on a baby, all right? Let's just do it.
Man, when they gave us that little car to drive off in, I would have been knocked up right then and there.
It's like, where's Nicole and Harriet? They took a stop. Like, it wouldn't even be a thing.
It is something about seeing someone, regardless of his race, uplift his Black woman in such a way that we don't see enough of. We see it. I don't want to discount anybody who has taught and because we do have plenty of examples. He does not care who's watching. I mean, obviously he has some rules, protocols that he has to follow and how he has to present himself and his family to the public.
Right.
But as we've seen, he and Meghan have just been kind of like, we're affectionate and we enjoy each other and we're young.
Right. I mean, I feel like he did as much, like he pressed down the parts of him that wanted to clearly tongue down his wife after they said, I do. And he was like, all right, fine, a chaste peck. But then in every other way, he's just kind of like, fuck this. Like, I'm going to hold my wife's hand.
Yeah.
And, he's been very effusive. Like, I think there was a video of him walking in London and someone yelled, hi, Harry, how's Meghan? And he was like, she's fine. And he was like, I hope it's a girl. And he was like, me too. And I just thought,
come on.
listen, like, are you mad? And again, you don't want to give cookies to men because they don't punt their babies over the nearest fence. Like,
that's a horrible image.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh my God, he's a great dad. It's like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
He's doing the bare minimum. Like, in the words of Chris Rock, even roaches have babies. Let's all calm down.
Yeah.
But I think there is something to be said for someone who is so excited by the prospect of spending a life with this person by their side.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. I think it's genuinely moving. And the reason why people are reacting in a way that is slightly outsized is because it is so rare for anyone with this level of celebrity, or especially from a royal family of Britain, which has been one of the most locked down institutions for so long.
Right.
It is a little bit out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be cool about it because I do think it is a little bit thrilling.
Yeah.
Like I said, come the race war, I will hesitate so hard before I do what is necessary. But in those moments, I'll look at him and his eyes will meet mine and I'll be like, babes, I don't want to do this, yeah? But I've got her. I've got to do it, all right? But I think that is testament to his love for this woman, but also the beard.
Right. So that's the thing that unites all of three of these men that we've talked about today. Not just the beard, but the fact that they're all married. And again, we don't normally focus on personal lives, but they're all married and they're all affectionate and they're all supportive from what we can see from our point of view. And it's the beard that gives them that extra, affectionate power, that extra it's okay to be affectionate towards your wife or your partner.
Right. And what that then tells you that if you are these men are, but I mean, they are, one of my favorite English words, luxurious. They love their wives and they are visibly in love with their wives.
Yes.
And I think that, by extension, is hot.
It is. So John Krasinski, Will Smith, Prince Harry, keep the beard, keep the love, because we're going to keep loving you.
Oh, that was a poem. So, Nicole.
Yep, Vim.
We have some fanfic wars to get through.
Yes.
Nicole, I am excited because even without consulting, we both knew who we were going to write about this week.
Yes. I feel like I should prepare you for my drabble.
Oh.
But I'm not going to say anything else.
Okay, I should just be prepared, but you're not going to tell me what to be prepared for.
Right.
Lovely. That's a useful thing. Thanks.
So my drabble, of course, is about John Krasinski. It's a little longer than what I normally do, but I feel like...
Is it a little bit longer? All right.
I feel like I needed this today.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
I hope I can make it through this. Okay, don't look at me.
All right.
After the movie premiere, John had an attitude with me. It seems I'd given too much attention to Keanu, and no amount of explanation could soothe his fragile ego. From the backseat of the limo, I tried again. Keanu's been the love of my life since I was a tween, I explained for the 100th time, throwing my hands in the air. John glanced to make sure the privacy screen was still up before cutting his eyes at me. Well, I'm the love of your life now. Did you have to be such a girl about meeting him finally? John gave me his profile. His jaw was tense beneath the fresh trim of his beard. Inside, I rolled my eyes, but I turned to him, placing my hand against that jaw to smooth out the worry there. And I'm your girl now, I said softly. He turned his head slowly to me, the petty jealousy dying down as a new fire burned behind his eyes. He twisted his body to face me more fully and looked down the length of my body, his gaze stripping away the simple yellow tank dress I'd worn. But are you my good girl, he asked of me.
Get the fuck out.
I'd been worried about going braless at the premiere, but now that we were here in the rented privacy of this luxury car, I was glad that John could read my body's response to him.
Oh my God, I hate this bitch.
God, you're so corny, I breathed out as his hand creeped under the hem of my dress. He used the other to raise my wrists above my head.
Oh my God.
His fingers found what they were looking for. You must like corny then. The end.
Bitch, I don't.
I feel like John Krasinski. Your face. Oh my God. You look like, when you're in an Uber car, Lyft car, whatever, and the driver is driving like he's out of his mind, and you look at the fellow passenger like, what the fuck is happening? That's how you look.
That's how I feel. I feel like, except there are no other passengers. And so this look is directed only at myself, and you are the Uber driver driving reckless. I don't. That was the most reckless thing you've ever written.
I know. It's terrible.
I hate so much that you have written this story, and now I have to live with it and think about it. And you're just
okay. But listen. So I feel like.
What do you feel like?
John Krasinski is a little, of course he's a little corny in the, the dad joke kind of way,
For
right?
sure,
Which is, I think, is sweet. I like that kind of thing.
Same.
I also think that, he's still, to go back to that everyman thing, that he still maybe has some insecurities, as being the lovable, okay-looking guy in a room full of people who have become more than just okay-looking, right. And so, even when you glow up, sometimes you still remember who you were before you glowed up, right?
So Chris Evans did, so yeah, why not?
Right, so I feel like John Krasinski, and I have no reason to think this,
no,
obviously.
As we said before, it's projection.
Yes, I feel like maybe he would still have a little tinge of insecurity that would come across and be, and still there's room for some silliness there.
So you took that feeling and then you smartified it.
Yes.
Don't say that with so much fucking relish. Wow, Nicole. I'm all shook up. I feel like a bottle of Coca-Cola that someone has been shaking all day, and I don't know where to put this energy. So I might go have a little lie down before I read mine. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it almost feels redundant to read my drabble today.
Who are you talking about today?
I think you know that it had to be John Krasinski.
It had to be, right?
I could have done a Prince Harry one, but it didn't feel quite right. And I feel like everything I need to say about Will Smith, I already said with that dream.
Right, yeah, that very special dream.
Right, like subconscious Will Smith knows about subconscious Bim's feelings, and I think that's enough for anyone to know. So, of course, that left John Krasinski. And, John has had a fruitful life in this here podcast.
He has.
People like John Krasinski. And so I was happy to give them some more of what they already have established that they like. Now, mine is a million miles away from whatever the fuck that was that you just read.
Hey, man. No judgments allowed.
What I love is there's no conviction. You're like, hey, man. Like, even that you took the drabble format and you threw it in the fire and you were like, bitch, deal with the ashes. And now I'm here dealing with the ashes. So anyway, so mine is a lot more tame.
Okay.
Which I feel like I say every week, but guys, this week it actually is true. Thirst Buckets, this is going to be the absolute fluff to Nicole's sizzle. I apologize, but also I don't apologize.
That should be our band name, Sizzle and Fluff.
All right, John Krasinski, let's go. John's mask twitches as he adjusts his costume for the 100th time, but the claws make his moves a little clumsy. Far less graceful than the character he's impersonating anyway. We're headed to a Halloween party, and I'm determined to win the costume contest. He scratches at the sliver of skin showing at his neck. You're sure this is okay? He asks again, his voice muffled by the mask. I exhale loudly and smile. More than okay, I reply. When he huffs again after a short silence, I pull the mask off altogether and stare at him until he grins. You're a paler than usual T'Challa, yes, I say. I ruffle his hair and drag my hands through his shaggy beard. But, I say faux sharply, swishing my cape behind me and smoothing down the sides of my frohawk, but I am Storm, and naturally I need Black Panther at my side. He throws his head back and laughs out loud. Okay. His twinkling eyes take on an appreciative gleam as he takes in my costume. No one is going to be looking at me anyway, he says. Finally, I say, you're getting it.
Please leave this planet for making John Krasinski fucking Black Panther. What the hell?
I just wanted to sprinkle a little stardust on John Krasinski. I'm just like, you know what? I would make my paler than usual boyfriend dress up as T'Challa. I'm like, take the glares of the people as we walk through the streets.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
I
Johnny.
enjoyed that.
Thank
enjoyed
you.
that.
I could
Thank
tell.
you.
The
Thank
laughter
you.
bubbled from your stomach. I was like, I got her good. I'm excited. I'm glad you like that. I like writing that also as well.
I'm just seeing his little face.
That little silver necklace.
Yes.
It's like, what do you want me to dress up as? Black Panther, love. All right. Cheers, darling.
Oh boy. Well, listeners.
Quite the task this week.
I know. You got to let us know which one, gave you some special feelings, I guess.
I think we all know the one that gave us special feelings. The feelings evoked by mine are very, very regular. Okay? You put out some real special feling vibes. That's all I'm going to say.
Gosh.
I know who I'm voting for, and fam, it's not me. So I'm just putting that on the table.
So Thirst Buckets. We'll have this poll up on our Twitter at ThirstAidKit. And you can vote. We're going to give you, a day to think about these things, listen to the episode again, maybe a third time.
I mean, just to be sure, make it full time.
Right. And then on Friday, you can vote and let us know which John moved you.
Moved something. As long as there's movement.
And as always, everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. Yeah.
Thirst Aid Kit is produced by us, Nicole Perkins and Bim Adewunmi, TK Dutess, and Camila Salazar. Our music is by Tanya Morgan.
You can follow the show on Twitter at Thirst Aid Kit, and we're at Tennessee Whiskey Woman, that's TN Whiskey with an E Woman, and Bimadew, BIMADEW. Plus, we are on Tumblr, where you can find quite a few of the beards we've mentioned in this episode, and that's at thirstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com. Please come thirst with us over there.
Please head over to Apple Podcasts to leave a review and rate the show. It helps other people discover Thirst Aid Kit as if they need any more help. And we always appreciate 5 stars.
If you live tweet your listen, please use the hashtag TACPOD, that's TAKPOD. And you can send us emails of undying fealty and appreciation to thirstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. As always,
stay thirsty. Do we want, if we bleep out arm to make it even filthier sounding? Like, what could it possibly...
What could he have curled around me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How big is it?